Welcome to Adult Play Therapy Uncensored. I'm your host, the original John 20.
This is Jerry P.
And we are back with the original trio. So once again, we have to show our love for you know who.
It's your girl Candi K Lynn.
Yeah, man. We are so excited to have her back, the original trio of Adult Play Therapy Uncensored. You guys know who it is. All right, this is our Father's Day edition, part 2.
Yes, sir.
So we are here with, I'm going to say Uncle Shaw, but I'm going to let Candi K Lynn introduce her father to y'all.
This is my dad.
Yeah. But you got to give us credentials.
It's, the Honorable Councilman Clifford Shaw, formerly. But ultimately, I think his favorite title was probably dad. I called him and told him, I said, hey, you kept a child alive like 4 decades, so I guess he's done pretty good.
Just be proud of him. Yeah.
Right on. Mm-hmm. So, hey guys, once again, man, we are here back at the wonderful home of Hooters, Cedar Hill, Texas. Our sponsors, man, we appreciate them. They let us come in and do what we do, and we appreciate them for that. So you guys come join us here Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Come get you something to eat. Come check out these girls. They're looking good. As we say, what? Food hot.
The wings is hot. The drinks are wet.
Drinks are wet.
And the women are doing their thing, man.
Hey,
so
man.
Come out and enjoy it.
Right on. So yeah, y'all come join us, man. Come have fun.
Yes,
and we're trying to get Candi K Lynn in here as many episodes as possible because I know y'all miss it too. We got some things we need to talk about anyway, and we love to have her point of view.
Yes, sir.
So getting into this, we're gonna come back with you guys with we talk about fatherhood, man, and just what fatherhood look like. You know what I'm saying? So the views of fatherhood. Views of fatherhood. So I'm gonna jump into it. Get us rolling.
So your views on fatherhood?
My views of fatherhood, you know what I'm saying, is pretty much for you guys out here who are doing it, maybe doing it for the first time, trying to do it or whatever. My views of fatherhood is something that you shouldn't take lightly. I think when you partake as a father in the household and you're doing the things that you're doing for your kids, and you're standing in that responsibility seat, I'm gonna say don't have expectations.
No.
And the only reason why I say that is because fatherhood is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're here trying to shape and mold our household, as well as our children. We're here to provide. We're here to struggle with our family. We're here to do the things that we're supposed to do in order to make sure that the ship sails straight.
Yeah.
Definitely. Keep God first. That's one thing I would say. For those of you that are spiritual, keep God first. I would say that. And if you aren't spiritual, keep a higher power or level of morale about yourself, because what your people see you do, they're going to mimic. So if you want them to be positive people, then you have to instill that within them.
That's interesting you said that about God, though, because nothing convinces you that there's a God more than having a kid. Like more than having a baby, holding your baby that God has blessed you with. Yeah. Nothing really convinces you that, a God exists more so than that.
Yeah.
My opinion when it comes to views on fatherhood, like you said, expect the unexpected, because everything that you think that you got this peg, this person, my kid's gonna do this, that. It usually never works out that way. You know what I'm saying? It usually doesn't. And sometimes it's for the better, sometimes it's for the worse, but it reminds you that, regardless of the good or bad, I gotta be here. I gotta be here to support, I gotta be here to lift up, to encourage, to scold sometimes. Yeah. So my views on fatherhood is, sometimes it's a thankless job, from the outside, sometimes from the inside, but regardless of it all, regardless of the mother or all of the other things, it's your responsibility. This is the person that you put here to take care of, and that's just what it is, man. That's my views on it. I mean, each generation is different. What the Bible says, each generation will get wiser but weaker. That's evident, so. But regardless, taking care of your children is, you got the Hooters. But just taking advantage of the blessing that fatherhood is, I think more people should understand that it's a blessing more than a burden.
I do think it's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? For those of you guys who are like, oh man, I got a kid, I'm stuck with whatever. No, it's a blessing. Take the positive from it. But you know what I'm saying? I'm about to shift it, you know, because we're young fathers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not as young as Jerry. He's younger than me, but I'm still a young father. You know, and I'm doing it. I've got it done. Out of everyone on the panel here, have the most kids. I have 5. I have 5. You know, and fortunately, my oldest is 29. I have 8 grandsons
And he's
here.
a father.
And he's a father. Yeah,
He's
that's
a
what I'm saying. I
father.
got a grandson here, and I got a granddaughter
Baby
on
on
the
the way, yeah.
So I'm proud to say that I got it done one time, and it looks good.
And he's pretty good.
He's great. Yeah, I like to say he's great.
You know, he's a pretty well-rounded, respectable young man. So
I thank God for
he's,
that. Yes.
you know, and those first 2 graduated from high school.
Yeah.
We getting some progress.
I got 2 down, and I got 3 to go.
3 to go.
And my second one, you know, he's getting there. He's not a father. He said he ain't looking for that right now. I thank God, you know. But I'm getting there. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting there. But I want to shift ties to a gentleman here who's had 3 up, 3 down. They out. You know, so they grown. Right. So he's gonna be able to, you know, enlighten us all more so on what he thinks, you know, what fatherhood looks like. You know, maybe and to yourself, maybe it didn't look the way you might have envisioned it as you're going through it. But let's say if you were to rewind the clock, you know what I'm saying, and look at it, like take what you got now and maybe kind of implement. What do you think fatherhood would look like, or are you happy with the direction you went in? Like, what would you say about it?
Yeah, you can always look back and say, if I woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Right.
But they turn out okay. And coming up, I never tried to be my kids' friend. That was the number one thing. As they have become adults, we can have adult conversation. But one of the things you should always remember, the guy told me once, I've never been a father before, so I don't know what that's supposed to do. But I've been a kid before, and I know what a kid's supposed to do.
There you go. Yeah. Like
so, all these expectations of fatherhood, and each kid is different.
Yeah.
You know, you need to try to find out what each and every one of them's strength is, and don't have Walter Mitty dreams and try to melt and pour what you missed out on.
Oh, okay.
Up on your kids.
Living vicarious through them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And let them pick, and once they pick what they want to do, then you go 100% behind what they're trying to do.
Exactly.
You know, I was an athlete in high school, college, et cetera, but I never really was pushing that until Catherine came home and said she wanted to play softball.
I said I wanted to play baseball first.
Baseball.
Okay.
He said, what did you say?
Female version.
What did you say? No, what did you say? When I said I want to play baseball.
He said, no.
You ready to play the baseball?
Yeah, so when we first went out, you know, she was out there just kind of roaming around. And no, this ain't gonna work.
He said, no, waste this money.
No, we wasn't. I hadn't wasted no money, you know. But you know, she was just like
Yeah.
She was green.
Well, she didn't know what to do. I'm like, no. So we're gonna invest in that. So as I said, just whatever their passion is, then get behind them.
And that journey took us a long way. Like that journey took us from 7 to 14.
Yeah.
That he actually coached my club team and we won championships together. And as he said, character, he benched me. Yeah, you know, and just to piggyback on like, yes, he did.
You gotta win this game.
He was, and it wasn't even that. It was like, you know, the what you expectations within fatherhood. I think that looking back as an adult, my parents were very good about the character building. It was, if he didn't think I was on, it was a reminder, let's sit down and get on. Because I'm in this position, you don't just get to play when you off. So if you're not showing up to produce, then you got to sit on the bench. Because I got to find somebody that can produce. And sometimes it was just let me get her mad to get her going because I prepared you for where you're supposed to be. And that toughness, you got to be mentally tough. So I think and so with that foundation of what fatherhood looks like I said, I went back to the baseball thing because I think about as an adult, he did say no. right?
Mhm.
And dad's got to say no sometimes.
Yeah.
Mom's got to say no sometimes. And there were 3 things that I'll talk about. He said no. Baseball was a no.
Mhm.
Boxing was a no. Football was a no.
Right.
And as he said, he never really pushed us to play sports. And it took me to get older to realize he always told us that we were more likely to go to college and get a degree not playing a sport.
Gotcha.
So instilling the reality in, getting us the character building lessons, and being present and understanding your kid's strength. I know what you're capable of. You don't get to perform in less than, and he was tough on us. Like, he wasn't changing no oil. That's like me calling him being like, hey dad, I ran out of gas. He's gonna be like, well, you're irresponsible.
Yeah.
Because the expectation is, right? I know what you're capable of.
Yeah.
Right? So I think boundaries have to be set. In the process of parents, boundaries, parents saying no. Dad sometimes saying no. My mom may have gone with the boxing a little bit.
Yeah.
I think she may have would have, but he was like, those were his strong.
No.
In my life, those were strong no's, and I look back, and there was a reason for those strong no's. So I think that dads sometimes have to make the hard call.
Yeah, of course.
That sometimes kids don't necessarily understand young, but if you're kidding like he said you're supposed to be, you'll get it as you become an adult, because it's like, I get to share those lessons and experiences when I'm talking to my kids that I'm teaching.
Very true.
Or in life, foundations of, those are expectations of a father. Like, they have to step in and make hard decisions sometimes.
But I kind of like that though, because we've talked about consolation prizes.
Yeah.
And we don't believe in. I don't believe in. Me personally, I don't believe in. You lose and you get a trophy anyway. That's just not. I just don't feel like
That's
you're
not life.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like you're teaching kids the right thing.
No.
But for you as a father to bench your daughter when you're coaching the team and everything, I do feel like, it's like the Serena Williams father. You know what I'm saying? And he's pushing his kids. I feel like that that builds that character. I know people say, "Oh, would you break his spirits?" No, you give them something.
That's not only teaching her. That's teaching the team.
That teaches the team,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, those are good attributes that showed, and giving you guys an example of what a father is. I think that's something that you should take down, because we all want our kids to be great at something,
Right.
but just don't overlook the fact that if you're not great, sometimes you got to sit down and earn your position to pass on those other kids.
And reevaluate.
Yes,
we
reevaluate.
want our kids to be great, but we want our kids to be great at being them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes,
And be realistic.
Yeah.
And with today's environment, that is so important. If you haven't poured into your kid with the political climate you're in today, you're in trouble.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. They got so many things out there that's pushing onto them. Whether it's they got so many things out there that's being pushed onto them.
Yeah,
that,
they do.
I never had,
individuality could get
because
lost.
as a parent, I never had to deal with COVID.
Right.
So you had kids.
Oh God, yeah.
So I can't relate
Yeah.
to any of that. So it's a different environment.
It is with social media.
Yeah.
With what's being propagated in in the news and television
And in
and the
schools.
music and stuff like
In
that.
schools.
Well, see, I stick up for schools, right? Because also at home, that foundation, and that's what I go back to, that character I feel like when girls have fathers, there's some lessons that we get,
Yeah.
and there's some ways that we walk in life that looks a little different. So even with school, our parents were our primary teachers. So if we were riding for games, because we spend a lot of time in the car, like softball, competitive sports is a very big market. We're not just talking about Little League. We're talking, we were on the road. We were in, Fort Worth a lot of days, going to the mall because I've torn up batting gloves. But we're having conversations of which direction I need to go on the highway. How do you get home? So political climate, sports climate. Those are conversations that parents, you guys have got to have at home. And so we were strong enough because those conversations were being had at home. And in the process of him pouring into me, he knew who I was, right? You have a chance to, who your kids are, where your kids are strong, where your kids are weak, you have to monitor TV programming. You have to monitor social media programming.
You have them on your cell phones too.
Yeah, you do. You have to
so different
you have
from
to
there.
check them, right? But I had a cell phone in 9th grade, right? There are consequences for your actions. And so when parents are filling in those gaps and sometimes making those tough decisions are, like cars, responsibility. you've got to teach your kids what you expect of them. They don't get to navigate their life based on the world because those aren't your expectations in the house.
That's true. That's true.
And we knew that. Like, if he had to get called from Richardson to come to that school, it was gonna be some smoke in the city.
Right.
And there was gonna be a problem.
The teachers back then was different too, though.
They were.
I ain't gonna lie, because the teachers I had, they was like, say for instance, my 6th grade year, we had 4 female teachers who was like secondary mothers, and all of them wasn't playing none of that.
I didn't have that luxury being a teacher.
Yeah.
We didn't have motherly. It was like breed. As a teacher now, I'm looking back like they were kind of bad teachers. Like
but and the fact of the matter is, our kids are around teachers and other students more than they're around parents.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So we can control what we can control, but realistically, about 8 hours a day, around y'all.
Yeah, but at school, he knows I was a troublemaker. It's wrong. I'm calling my mama. He got tired of hearing about it, like, right? So we just, and just a salute to him of 25 years of service to the city of Cedar Hill, where we are working out of.
Yeah.
I talked about that. My dad was very big on, we ain't got no dog in that fight. But I would come home and I would tell them what was going on.
Yeah.
So you weren't gonna have more power over me because for me, those 2 people in that house, those were my role models. Because I respected even then the sacrifice. I understood like softball fees at that point. They were paying monthly fees.
Right.
He was playing softball dudes. I played AAU basketball. So when you shelling out $500 a month for extracurricular activities, for some people that's a mortgage.
That is.
So we honored that and we respected that. And that's what I say about like, for my outside perspective of what I've learned is it's really pouring into your kids. Because like I said, whether it was sports or not, my dad and I also like books. That was our bonding point. So African American bookstores in the city, that's what we did. He was going to take me to book signings and we were going to go, read. So I knew that I could come home and tell them whatever. If it was, like y'all said, some of the stuff going on at the school with the other kids. I was going to be out of that class with that kid or that kid was going to be moved for me. I was confident enough of what, you understand what I'm saying? Of how important it is for parents to pour in because that school had to account
and basically stick up
for the bad behavior. Exactly. I didn't have
good.
to advocate for myself because that wasn't my place.
But not just that, but you got to look at it like this. What you're saying, you're saying what your father did for you and how he was able to do that for you. A lot of times, especially these days and times, there's something going on with a kid. Mom is the one who shows up. You see what I'm saying? And in my case, of course, I'm dad. I'm there. I'm showing up. So what you're saying for Unc right here is that hey, he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, because you know what? The conversations, right? Goes back to the foundations that we're building. And for your daughters and your sons to understand teamwork. One person should, everybody should be on the emergency contact. You should be able to show up to the school and dad should be able to advocate. Dad should be able to be, he wasn't going to be homeroom dad. But he was going to send sandwiches on lunchtime, right? So I feel like everybody has a role to play in these situations.
I'm homeroom dad. I'm
pro dad.
Me too. I'm just cookies and cupcakes.
That's right.
Hey, I try not to be there too long because then the women get to say, your daddy single. They get to look at it. I'm like,
because I ain't here for that. I'm here to be a presence for,
for my daughters
and for the rest of the kids in the community. Because you guys don't understand how important it is. My friends, when they talk to me, they want to know how Mr. Shaw is doing.
Exactly.
Because he was always there. And they know that.
I was going to ask him next because that's something that I deal with, which I really appreciate. How did you deal with the mentoring aspect? Because of course, when you set examples for your kids, I'm sure there was other kids that was like, like I have my daughter's kids. Girlfriends, they call me dad. They say, hey dad, you know what I'm saying? Are we going to the movies tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, well you can't because your father take you somewhere. But I'm like, yeah, I'll pick you up, y'all go to the movies with me. So,
in support of the Catherine, there was several young men that played sports with her that she talked about. And even today, they still have a great deal of respect for me, just by the way I carry myself. And when I coached baseball and softball, some of the young men, and they're grown now, they still see me and they call me coach. But that was more so because I put expectation on them. I tried to be fair with them. When they was playing, I would tell the kids, winning does matter. So all this thing about we're just out here to have fun, yeah, up to a point.
Right.
But when it comes to if we can win, yeah, I'm gonna put the best people in.
Yeah, right.
Because that's life.
Trying to achieve a goal.
Yeah. And as you go out here in life, that's going to be.
Very true.
So do you feel like you shaped some of the direction in some of the lives of some of the young men? Like, are they doing good today when you see some of them?
Oh, there's no question about it. Yeah. It's very, very few losers that I coached or I came in contact with. They're grown men now, and some of them have their own kids, and I'm proud of them.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, for me to kind of wrap it up on my end, I mean, my views on fatherhood, I used to work in the juvenile system with Dallas County.
Right.
I'm with the city of Dallas now, but three principles I learned in the juvenile system on how to raise kids. You got to be fair, you got to be firm, you got to be consistent.
Yep.
Fair, firm, and consistent.
Fair,
Take
firm,
that
and
back.
consistent. That's why I even raise my boys like that now.
Right.
And it works. It works. And in leadership and at the job, fair, firm, and consistent.
Right.
Same thing. Even in a relationship with my wife, fair, firm. Hey, we ain't doing this thing. I just play. No. But yeah, no, fair, firm, and consistent. Those three values, man. If you can implement that in your parenting, it'll work wonders.
Okay, now hey, let's change it. Let's change this. Let's flip it. Let's flip it because I gotta be that guy.
What we got?
Adult Play Therapy Uncensored would not be the show it is if I did not add a little bit of turmoil to the show.
A curveball. Okay.
Now this is what I want to ask you.
Yes, sir.
What is the one thing you do not like about fatherhood that you didn't like about being a father? And I mean, being honest, because I know you enjoyed it. But I'm like, come on, because I will tell you, I'll start off. For starters, I love being a father, but I just hate the fact that it's so uneven. Mama, regardless of if she does something wrong, daddy's gonna always be the fault of it.
Yeah.
I tell people like this, I say we could be running together, mom and dad, and the kids. If mom happens to trip and fall, the children are gonna instantly stop, run to mama and make sure mama's okay, boys and girls. If dad is running and dad trips and fall, it's more like, come on, Dad, he gonna be okay. He'll be you gotta get what I'm saying? And that's just giving you an analogy of how they view us. Like, I know we have this view as Superman and all that. But I'm like, what, in your opinion, what would be the one thing no, that ain't even the one thing. What did you just dislike?
The biggest
I also don't like the fact that when it comes to Mama's Day, all the restaurants are full. Because of Father's Day, every restaurant is empty. You don't need a reservation. Come on in and have a seat. You know?
Well,
show us some love. We like to eat too.
Of course, with me, that kind of goes with the territory. I mean, I didn't really look up on it like that because the mother's going to always be there.
Yeah.
But if you got a praying father, you got something special.
Oh, wow.
So I always looked up on it like that, and I wasn't really comparing, what they did for their mom versus what they did for me.
Gotcha.
And she said, I got to the place, I really didn't want just a whole lot for Father's Day, just the love, just the respect that they showed for me. When they did give me something, I always appreciated, I would kid them about that, but the Lord has blessed me that I've been able to get what I want to on my own. And if I really needed something, they would get it for me.
Gotcha.
So I don't really have a real conflict with mom versus dad.
Well, not really just saying that, just with us, period, just being fathers.
But he has perfect kids, so I think it's a little different.
What? Yeah, what? Oh my God.
Say all of that.
I thought it was
I mean, but being honest, though.
What about you?
They kind of mouthy.
No, thank you. That's right.
I mean, but we were pretty decent.
Yeah, pretty decent,
He
but
can't
he can speak for himself.
We pretty much my sister and I, we were pretty good.
Oh my God.
I remember that son of his.
Don't forget I
No, but seriously, I do believe that it is I tried to be decent, the trust factor, like you said, I understood that my parents were pouring into me, he would drop me off at the mall and Like I said, my dad, to be the age he was, that's why I don't understand chauvinistic men. I didn't grow up like that. So even if it was maybe unbalanced or whatever, I always felt like he and I had a pretty decent relationship. And I understood that he trusted me. He dropped me off. He said, I'll be back at 8 or 9. I was going to be outside at 8 or 9. Like, it was like, it's some balance, I think, that helps, keep the course within. Because I don't feel like I was more partial to my mom than my dad. I think I'm kind of fair across the board. Like, if I got a problem, I tell them both I got a problem.
Right.
And we're going to rock on. But I honestly, as an adult, honor and respect the fact that I know what it looks like to have parents that were present.
Gotcha.
And for me, it's like, as you said, you want to hope that you make the experience as fun and peaceful as possible. It's kind of, that was always kind of my thing. Like, he was big on, don't embarrass me.
Oh, yeah.
So those life lessons of like just trying not to make it a terrible experience for parents.
Right.
And as a teacher, that's what, as you said, I get a lot of the juveniles.
Yeah.
I try to teach my kids, like, y'all like to tell me about what your parents do, but I'm looking at your case file.
Yeah.
And that's
How can we make their situation sometimes a little bit better and continue to balance? So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I always like to tell people, at the end of the day, for the absent fathers, so if you're a child and you have an absent father, and let's say you're now embarking on fatherhood, just take the time to remember that, that father's not absent because of his just will of not being there. I feel like, there's struggles that us as individuals have to go through and deal with, and he may have not been equipped to handle his situation. Right. But you see what you see, and you saw what it was that affected you as a young man. Why don't you try to not judge him for that, but make sure that you don't fall in the same hole and try to be as present as he wasn't for your kids? Because at the end of the day, anybody could fall short. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
this is life. We're here and we're struggling individually. We're trying to figure it out individually. When we came to this earth, there wasn't a playbook for us. Although, we can read the Bible, and the Bible have so many different parables and stories. We still have to remember that our path leads us in so many different directions that we have to be careful of which direction we go in, how we bump our heads in the decisions that we make. So, I like to say, I love all the fathers out there, and those who are young fathers or those who have not been doing your best at being a father, it's time for you to step up. Yeah. Maybe you need to redirect yourself, go back to those kids, because in reality what you're doing is, if you don't give them something positive to see, then you're just creating more copies of yourself, hateful individuals that are not standing up and doing the things that are necessary. Right. Every kid doesn't get it. I may have been one. There may be another 20 out there that get it. But you have to remember one thing: your example is going to affect someone else, and it's going to be reflected upon us, people here in the world. So try to be the best that you can as a father. Try to do the best that you can when it comes to your children. I love the way Jerry said, your presence is the present. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and I think that's very important. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. What would you like to say to those out there, Jerry? You know what I'm saying? You're younger than everybody,
Man, just like I said, the fair, firm, and consistent thing. I would just say, just stay present. Stay present. Even if you're there, that you can be there and still be absent. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So stay engaged, stay present, and be ever learning. Just like in any other relationship with somebody you love. With me and my wife, I never take a day for granted. I listen to her, I learn her. We continuously learn each other. I do the same with my children, because it's like Unc said, they're different individuals. So it's up to me to learn who they are as an individual. My oldest son, he's into space. He's like, he want to be an astronaut when he grow up. So it's like, okay, I ain't never been to NASA before. Let's drive down to Houston, go to the Space Center. Let's go enjoy that. So just kind of cultivate what they're into, who they are becoming, that kind of stuff. So, without them knowing who their father is, that's a part of them that they don't know. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So just get to know your kids. I always say, get to know your kids, even if they're grown, even if y'all had a strained relationship, get to know who they are. Kids, get to know who your father is, because that's part of you. That's your DNA. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would do.
Well, Catherine, what would you like to say? Candi K Lynn, give me your perspective when it comes to fathers, men, you know, on a woman's, from a woman's point of view, the importance, you know.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say about you, say to your father, you know, this time, just other fathers pay attention.
Well, I think my dad knows, like, it's a starting point, right? So my dad, like I said, he's funny. You gotta be around to hear the one-liners that he throws out. But he made it very clear to us, if you, for us, you date somebody that can at least provide you at the level of a lifestyle I provided you.
Yeah.
And I've been told, like, that's kind of jerkish, but I heard what he said.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can give me this type of lifestyle, why would I be willing to settle for something else?
Yeah.
And I think that men have to understand, especially for your daughters, as well as for your sons, those examples go a long way. Once you pour that foundation, your kids stand on that foundation, they believe in what you say until you prove them wrong. They believe what you say, they will apply what you say, they will take those life lessons, and they will use them in their lives to grow and to build and become strong and to be parents themselves. That's your grandchild.
That's the grandbaby guy. Hey, we got generations up in here.
Yeah. But you take it and you do utilize it because you understand
You
the
want to let her come over here?
and you saw.
Junior, you want to let her come over here?
Yeah, I just want to take this stuff.
No.
You saw and you get it, right?
Yeah.
You get it. So there's a level of toughness. There's a level of responsibility that comes with it. There's expectations, right? Even and still, I tell the kids, like my parents today, I can't call him and say certain stuff that's foolish, cause he gonna let me know it's foolish.
Right.
It's gonna be like, you know, if I need him, he's coming, but I'm gonna get a lecture behind it. It's gonna be like, this is freaking foolishness. Like, his expectation is that I carry myself like a young lady, that I take care of myself.
That's very important.
You know, I couldn't be out here like, you know, no offense to y'all, know I love the Instagram models, but he wouldn't understand it. You know, it would just be like somebody taking care of you. You can't provide for yourself.
You got a standard.
You don't. So for me, it's being able to live with those expectations that have been set, those examples that have been provided. There's certain things that I won't tolerate from a man. My dad came home at night. I don't know what he did in between work hours, but I know when I went to bed at night, he was at home, and when I woke up in the morning, he was at home. So any man that's doing anything outside of that and going to work, I ain't gonna be able to do it. In the words of him, it's a no for me, because those were solid foundations and things that I learned and saw. And if you cannot show up for me and be physically present in all capacities, I ain't gonna be able to do it. So understand that your presence in your daughter's life, your son's life, however you have to create that presence, those things are so important.
Yeah. So what would you give to the people, for those that embarking on fatherhood, all fathers, they're dealing with things that are not probably as organized or uniform as what you dealt with.
Well, as I said, there's no blueprint for it. The main thing is try to be there for your kids. Love your kids. Be there for them. And look around for mentors in your neighborhood, in your church. Look at those that's doing things right. And just kind of follow that. As I said, there's no one set way of doing it. You just have to decide what you want to be as a father. And just get behind your kids and pray about it and do that.
So you believe in that comment, it takes a village, basically.
It does.
I'm talking about even as a father.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to ask for help.
Yeah,
Men, we have a lot of pride.
Yeah, we do.
We're unwilling to do that sometimes.
Yeah. And in today's environment, that's very true. But at a certain point in time, men need to be talking to each other about fatherhood and what they're doing for kids because when you get a certain age, all the club and all this other stuff that you're doing,
Get played out.
that's tomfoolery.
Right.
That's my 2 cents.
Wow. Well, hey, you guys heard it here first. Our first Father's Day edition.
Yeah.
We're very appreciative of Mr. Clifford Shaw, who came in and helped us out here with this edition. I want to say, I've known him all my life, and I appreciate it because everything that he said, he's been here. There's pictures to prove it. In his baseball outfits, out there with the basketball and all that. So,
Softball,
yeah,
volleyball.
softball.
Everything except for the cheerleading and dance. He didn't want no parts of that.
I got you. But I'm sure you probably
He
put
was
that
there.
money in for a pop
But
or
no,
something.
he was at every game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I
know
tell
that.
everybody, the only time he was ever late
Yeah.
is when he got on the council and he would be like, it's Tuesday, I got a meeting, I'll be in a little late.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, he was there. So as you said.
And I've seen it, like I said, so I know for a fact, So like I said, I'm appreciative of that because that also set an example for me being around this family, So being in family where I was lacking, like I said, I was able to look and see in other areas to see where, okay, I see what I can do or what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? In order to be who I
But
am
at
today.
this point in time in your life, son, your dad be proud of you.
I appreciate it.
That's good.
And so he told me that too, so I appreciate you saying that as well, and I still, miss him and I appreciate that too, but man, I gotta say thank you. I'm gonna tell you thank you.
You got the wealth, I'm glad to do it.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
I want to tell you, right, as a cousin, I always tell people, our relationship with you is different from the older ones because you were always there. Right? So you were like 15 and 16 with a car, like hanging out with us.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, the movie's coming out, I'm gonna come get y'all. I got a car and we listening to rap music. Like my appreciation for rap, we did the rap episode.
Yeah.
If you guys realize, so I want to tell you that those things for us as young ladies were always very important because I understand the men in my family are gonna show up for me.
Right.
So I want to thank you too, as your journey of a father, and I have a pretty decent relationship with your oldest son, like like pretty good relationship with your oldest son.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you too as a cousin not that far in age, understanding that your presence as an older cousin was important for us to show us how to be treated or to come help out if there's a problem, to do that. And then your dad in that case, it always makes me smile because he moved me. So like him and dad always moved me, and we were in Prairie that time. He's like coming to get it. So the presence of having men, whether y'all know it or not, for some of us, is important because we do honor and appreciate it.
It is though, man. I want to throw one thing out. I mean, with John, I've always looked at you as, especially as a father, as a template on persistence in your child's life, because no matter what was going on, you was always in the kid's life. You know what I'm saying? You was that dude. So I always looked up to you in that regard, and wanted to pattern myself after you as a father.
I appreciate that. Y'all done changed and turned it up on me.
man,
But you gotta understand something, Jerry. You father too, bro. I'm gonna say kudos to you because you got it. I watched it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And thank you because I appreciate being the godfather of the baby too.
Man,
we still gotta do something. We gotta go hang out. Like I told you, I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But this is what it's about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 3 men, 3 different generations. Doing what it takes in order to be in kids' lives. That's the reason why we bring the show to you guys. That's the reason why we do these episodes. We're not just talking on our own perspective, but we bring, different generations in so that they can tell you this. See, we're talking about how it's a struggle because I'm not married being a single father. You know what I'm saying? Single father of 5, doing it by myself, busting my behind to make sure that my kids understand the foundations. You know what I'm saying? Understanding the educational aspects and all of the sports and whatever creativity that they have in themselves. And you have a gentleman over here who's married, you know what I'm saying? And who's got it, who's doing the same thing, a beautiful wife, the creativity, God bless them over there. And then we have a older generation here who's married, has kids are grown, been there, done that, like I said, been an example that I was able to look at and watch too in my life.
Right.
So it's very important. So if you don't have the answers, man, you kind of watch the episode, watch the show.
Yeah,
we do our best to try to
Found a
educate
friend.
you. Yeah.
Found a friend. If you don't know, sometimes we need to create support groups so that we got each other's backs.
You
Or
should.
like I remember when the church was doing the fraternity, the men's fraternity. Like check your churches out and get with other men who are learning and growing.
The Bible
that'll
says
tell you
iron
there's no
sharpens iron.
Yeah.
That's very important.
There's no perfect examples for this, but everybody, we should appreciate it from the other side and not just a female perspective of, we've had this conversation several times about the appreciation, the celebration of the men in our lives because some of us do realize they are very important.
Right. So hey, that's the episode, man. We're gonna get on out of here. Hopefully you guys learned something. You know,
Yeah.
once again, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Clifford Shaw, to
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you like that. Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming in
Thank
and
you,
lending
sir.
us your
Thank you.
time. I do thank you, sir.
Thank you for inviting me, sir.
No problem. And then, of course, Candi K Lynn. We happy to see her and hopefully see her more. But hey, man, don't play therapy. I'm your boy, the original John 20.
It's Jerry P.
What's your girl, Candi K Lynn?
And we are gone. Y'all, we'll see you next time.